So let's go take a look at construction progress. This is where my parking lot's gonna be for the bed and breakfast guest. So this is gonna get gravel filled in very soon. And then to the left of these little excavators and diggers here, there's a driveway that goes to the back for the rear cottages. And then we have our first septic field, and the second one is much farther back on the property. So making good progress. Lots of wonderful stone that came up that I'll repurpose into planers and fire pits and stuff like that. There is no shortage of big chunks of stone to use for garden projects. It's called Slate Hill for a reason. So front vestibule hasn't really changed at all since construction started, but that is expected. They did finally get the vapor barrier down after we did all that wonderful foundation work. And you'll notice there's a mixture of these old historic beams here, insulated, and then where we had to cut out the old beam from this point back was just completely rotted out and problematic. And so we did have to come through with new framing, new beams for this little section in the rear. But we still got all the original historic timbers, and I will likely repurpose those in some cosmetic fashion. All the trenching for the ground plumbing has happened. So this will get filled back in, and concrete floor will be poured back over it, and then the engineered hardwood. These are a couple guest rooms. Got excess material. This is another guest room. And then here, we've punched a hole in this wall to allow to open up the kitchen, because what I'm standing in, part of this will be kitchen, and part of it is some other stuff. So this is really the commercial kitchen. They've already dug the footers for it. They're probably gonna pour soon. They've got the ground plumbing in. It's not the biggest commercial kitchen, but it doesn't need to be. And the kitchen probably comes over to about, I don't know, about here. And then there's room, there's going to be a handicap lift there. And a little bit of this is kitchen, and the handicap lift comes over, and then over here there's a little half bath for people who are coming in and maybe don't have a room to stay but use the bathroom. Back here is another couple guest rooms. We've already got our framing in for that. There's our bathroom. There'll be an entrance to right here, basically where I'm standing, and you'll come in, and this will be one suite, one bedroom, and there'll be a wall there with another suite and bedroom and bathroom, and then an exit out that hallway. And this particular suite happens to have its own direct entrance and exit. I've started to make pretty good progress on the garden. As part of the process of cutting down trees to make room for septic fields, I got all these nice small trees. They're just, 2 or 3 inches, 2 to 4 inches in diameter, that make these great arbors, and I'm starting to build those and put them up around the garden and the perimeter of the cemetery. I've managed to weed out most of this flower bed and have mostly things we want. There is some poison ivy I need to go suit up before summer gets too hot. Right now, it's spring and finish finish working on. So I do need to do the poison ivy. This is the driveway from the parking area that takes you back to the cottages. Here's our second clearing for the septic field for the new construction building that I'm calling the cottages. And both of these septic fields are going to be planted over with native wildflowers and grasses that we let grow tall in the season and then mow down at the end of winter, early spring to allow new growth. So we've got this big cleared area here. And then everything from here on back is really going to remain wooded. I wanted to keep as much of the property wooded as possible. It's something I really like about it. And this is essentially where our driveway comes up to. And then our new construction house that I'm calling the cottages is going to be right here.